topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Camping Show. I'm CW Getz. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and we have a 60-degree cloudy day here in north central Illinois near Chicago. I got to tell you, what a treat. It started out a little chilly this morning, but what a treat. Go outside this afternoon, and, shortly after lunch, I finally made it out. But I tell you what a pleasant surprise. We've had some chilly, windy days here for almost the past week. So what a welcome change that is. Want to remind everyone, I don't know if anybody saw this or anybody, I know some people did, posted last night. Next Wednesday, I will be in Louisiana doing an interview with Ellen Falterman, and we are going to be looking at her ocean rowboat, taking a little tour of it. She's going to give us some explanations of how things work, and talk to her about her upcoming 40,000 mile plus trek in an ocean rowboat around the world, which will take her over 6 years, she estimates. So we'll be down there next Wednesday for that. In the meantime, tonight's episode is brought to you by Sandsbug, the quickest tent you've ever pitched, by Campground Views, making camping easier, by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water, by Novacraft Canoe, connecting with nature since 1970, and by Little Bug Enterprises, rugged simplicity in outdoor gear. Well, tonight's episode is American-made quality gear and equipment with my special guests, Grant and Tom Siga. Grant Siga grew up in Hermantown, a small northern town located near Duluth, Minnesota. Grant has been an avid outdoors adventurer his entire life, involved in activities like canoeing, fishing, hiking, and camping. Upon graduating from the University of Wisconsin-Superior in 2017 with a degree in business management, Grant Siga, at age 22, became the vice president and the operating partner of Spring Creek Manufacturing. Since his arrival at Spring Creek, the company has grown from a small local canoe and kayak outfitter to an exclusive manufacturer of high-quality products for the paddle sports, outdoor, and industrial vehicle rack industry with worldwide distribution. Tom Siga became president and CEO of Duluth Pack in 2007. Since Mr. Siga's arrival at Duluth Pack, the company has expanded from a regional outdoors mainstay into a global network. Duluth Pack operates a manufacturing plant, retail operation, website, and a global wholesale business. Prior to Duluth Pack, Mr. Siga held several leadership roles in sales management, and marketing in the North American pulp and paper industry. Mr. Siga holds an engineering degree from the University of Minnesota Duluth. In 2017, Mr. Siga purchased Spring Creek Outfitters and has transitioned the company into Spring Creek Manufacturing. Spring Creek Manufacturing builds aluminum paddle sports accessories and industrial truck racks. Spring Creek Manufacturing operates a manufacturing plant, website, and global wholesale network. Well, with that, welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us. Yes, CW.
Yeah, quite impressive. You know what? Roxy just asked me a question, and I'm going to say no on that, just for now. But okay. Hey, this is like the remember the dating game where they would have like three guys up there, and there's three of us. So bachelor number one. How did Spring Creek Manufacturing get started, in fact?
Spring Creek Manufacturing started in 1985 by a gentleman by the name of Ted Newberg. Ted was a high school science teacher in Mountain Iron. And for those who don't know the location of Mountain Iron, because it is a small mining iron ore mining town there. It's about 70 miles north of Duluth, about 40 miles southwest of Ely, which is widely considered the mecca of the Boundary Waters. And so anyway, Ted was a science teacher, like I said, and to his core, he was an avid outdoors person. You could always find him, whether he would be hiking, camping, backpacking, but his real love was the paddle sports and being on the water in a canoe.
Yeah.
So that led him to many canoe and paddling trips with friends, family, his father, and one thing that I actually learned from Ted's wife Videtta is he was a slender-shouldered man, so he always had a bugger of a time finding a canoe yoke that fit him properly. And it always literally and figuratively caused him a pain in the neck because he could not find a bar that fit him right. And so Ted actually would always say, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Well, to the point where he actually, and again, I learned this from his wife, Videtta, being a high school science teacher, he had kind of his way with the equipment that he had there. So he used to use old retired high school football pads, and he would bring those with him on Boundary Waters trips just to lighten the load on his shoulders when he would carry canoes, because it caused problems for him so much. And so that led him to creating what we call our Canoe Seat yoke. And that was actually the very first product that started Spring Creek. And it just started for, he made it for himself and his family and his friends. And then once he would use it, he would, run into people on portages or word got around and people were like, hey, I'd like to get one of those. I'd like to try one of those. And then he, kind of thought to himself, hey, we might have something here. And started selling some. And then, like I said, that led to the founding of Spring Creek in 1985, what was then known as Spring Creek Outfitters, founded upon that tandem canoe seat yoke. And as I say, it's a tandem seat yoke, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, I think, in the show here, is that it actually does work as a center seat or a solo seat or an additional third seat, but it also is a portaging yoke as well.
I'm familiar with that apparatus, and it is a very clever design, I must say. So, yeah. Kudos to
it. Really is, and it's nice. It's like a free floating design that the pads are adjustable. So whether you're a little bit more slender shouldered or broad shouldered, you can kind of adjust the pads in and out. They telescope, so it's not it's kind of a one size fits all.
I think the key is adjustable, and that says it all right there, because there are so many things, aside from canoe carrying thwarts or carrying yokes, that are not adjustable, and you can't, you either deal with it and have a pain in the neck, like we were talking here, like you mentioned earlier, or you buy something or make something, So very good.
Right.
Spring Creek Manufacturing produces a number of products that accommodate the paddle sports industry, but you guys also manufacture other products. Is that correct?
We do, yes. So we started out with what we call our tough truck rack, and it's bed racks for a pickup truck. And originally, when they were designed, they were meant for hauling canoes and kayaks. And just from word of mouth and people seeing them and using them and purchasing them for canoe and kayak hauling, folks saw them and they're like, geez, these things are way overbuilt for, using them for just solely canoes and kayaks. And so we thought, hey, let's transition into making racks for the industrial line of vehicle fleets, not just trucks, but vans and car tops as well. So that led us into making headache style racks. So for those who don't know a headache rack, it's like a back window protecting rack. So you can have, lights and different shovel mounts, bucket mounts, things like that, and keeps that back window protected, to full on what we call cantilever racks that telescope out over the cab of the vehicle and connect all the way to the back of the bed, to the front, to rooftop racks, van racks, things of that nature. So we've really expanded from the paddle sports line, from originally being, racks specifically for paddle sports, to, we're now outfitting and having customers that are using them for their industrial vehicle fleet. And the one thing that's beautiful about our racks is they're not make, model, year specific to the vehicle that they're going on. And so they're fully adjustable. And so whether you're swapping them, and as people know, that industrial vehicle fleet, that's quite a bit of an expense to have swapping over a vehicle as frequently as they do. And so to save the expense of having to cut off a rack that's maybe not adjustable or specific to that vehicle that it's on, they can take the rack with them to their new vehicle, make a couple of minor adjustments, whether that's telescoping them up to fit the cab heights or out a little bit wider to fit, a wider bed or a more slender bed. They can do that with our racks. And beauty of them all as well is it's all made out of anodized aluminum with stainless steel fasteners. So rusting isn't an issue. Corrosion isn't an issue. And you can kind of take them with you as you need.
Grant, I was going to save this for later, but I'm going to mention it now since you went into some detail about that. But I am on my third truck since I purchased the rack system, and I don't remember the name of the system, but it's a beautiful system. And I can haul, I think it's at least 3, and I don't know, maybe 4, but at least 3 canoes on this rack.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's kind of like looks like a big, maybe almost like an H on the back of the bed, on the bed of the pickup truck. And then on the cab, there's with suction cups, and then there's a strap that goes through the door. But I'll tell you, the door jams. But I tell you what, I'm on my third vehicle, and this thing with very, very minor adjustments between the Dodge and the Chevy, it was like within 10 minutes, I had this thing ready to go. Now I just traded trucks, and I have a GMC now, and it was like there was no question. So the only thing, it has a cover on the back, sort of a roll top cover or whatever that I had to get little deeper C clamps for, but that's the only issue. And if it didn't have that, there would be nothing necessary. It would go right on. So kudos to you guys for that design, because it's amazing. I didn't have to buy a new rack, unfortunately for the company, but I'm telling you, fortunately for me, that thing it's so universal. I don't know how you could build anything better. So just a little.
Believe it or not, you're not the first person to have that story. We've had folks just as recent as this last winter come in and say, "Oh yeah, I had this rack. I got it in the mid '90s, and it's the third truck now that we were swapping it onto." And just like you said, a couple minor adjustments to some hardware, and up and down you go, or in and out you go, and boom, set.
You got to love hearing that. I mean, at least I think I would is running a company or owning a company as well. But going into that, how do you guys come up with new product ideas, and how does the design process go leading up to production?
Yeah, so a very common used phrase, this is specifically by Tom, but then everybody that we've kind of adopted it throughout Spring Creek is, the customer is the smartest people we know. And so a lot of them really come from just customer suggestion, and they'll reach out to us and be like, "Hey, I like something that I have, a product or accessory that I have that's designed like this. I think you guys can make it better if you did this, this, and this." And we go, "Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds doable." And so then we'll take it to our team here, have a couple meetings. First of all, look at it. Is it feasible for us to do? We're using aluminum and stainless, so we always like to say it's not rocket science, and so a lot of the different things, the answer to that would be yes. We can do it. And number two is can we do it as efficiently as possible, but also make it as simplistic as possible, because that's one thing that you'll see across the board for Spring Creek products in our product line is we want it to be as user friendly and simplistic as possible, so that somebody doesn't get this big long scroll of instructions on how to use it and be able to swap it from boat to boat or from truck to truck to vehicle, no matter what it might be. So to answer your question, a lot of it comes from the customer base, but even internally, it's is there a market for it? We ask ourselves that every time. Is there a market for it? If so, yes, we'll take it on. Can we make it, like I said, and then can we do it efficiently and effectively so that it's really something that the end user really enjoys?
Lots of things that go into that. Am I right, Tom?
Oh, I'll tell you what, there's so many things that go into making every product, and it's specifically when you begin in the prototyping phase of it, because customers have these great ideas and we're trying to meet that need for the customers. But there's a lot that goes into the manufacturing of each and every product individually. And will it work? Will it work effectively? And will it meet the need of what the customer is really looking for? And we know that with our truck racks, we run up against that, because some people just want ladder racks, and some people want side ladder racks, and some people want a cantilever rack that goes all the way over. Some want an integrated headache rack that goes into it as well. So there's a lot of thought, a lot of prototyping, and a lot of questions and challenges that we have to go through to make sure that they work effectively for the customer.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. With so many companies, though, outsourcing like raw materials and components overseas, I wonder to myself, was there ever a temptation or consideration to do that for you guys to do that?
CW, there wasn't. Absolutely, that's an easy one for us. Whichever company it is that we're talking about, because made in America means made in America, and we source our materials in America as well, and that's very important to us. It's very important to our customers, and we have to source all of that and make sure that it's all being manufactured by our people. To put that American flag and the pride that we put into putting that American flag on every product we build. So we're very proud of it. And that's not something that is even a fleeting thought in our minds to ever outsource overseas any manufacturing or any part of what we do.
See, that's a beautiful thing. That's absolutely a beautiful thing. And, when everything is made here, it's not just assembled here with products that were made overseas. That's because people do that. People say that. It's just really very deceptive in my opinion, but that you guys are all American made. So anybody that's wondering about that, there's your answer right there.
I will say this, made in the USA, it's not getting stuck on a cargo ship, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's right. Where's my stuff? It's in the harbor.
Exactly. Shop American.
No supply chain issue here.
Yeah. Good point, gentlemen. Hey, let me ask you this before we take a break and hear from our sponsors, but are there any products you manufacture that are actually exclusive to the paddling industry, meaning that you offer a one-of-a-kind product that's on the market?
Absolutely. I touched on it earlier, our Canoe Seat yoke. I have never found or seen anything like it on the market. You can find just standard yokes. You can find Canoe Seats. You cannot find a tandem Canoe Seat yoke that doubles as a center seat, a solo seat, a third seat, while also getting the portaging yoke feature with it. And that is, it's awesome to see it, being that it is, our first product that we were founded upon. And, for all this time, like I said, it was made in 1985, and it's so unique and it's so versatile, and also it's super effective for people who have used it. And one thing I will say with it, like I had mentioned a little bit earlier, with the adjustability of the product itself and the comfortability of it. It's a kind of a one size fits all for, different body types, different canoe types. And it's one of a kind. Absolutely. And I've never seen anything else like it.
Yeah, that's very cool. You're only going to find it there. I love
it. And once you use it, I'll tell you what, you'll never ever go back to a traditional yoke thwart bar. You will not.
I can certainly believe that. I remember seeing that, and I go, yeah, that's a very clever idea. I've never seen one of those before. And that makes me feel good, like I wasn't sheltered or something. There is nothing like that out there. So, Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more of The Camping Show on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV after these messages.
I love camping, but hate setting up and packing. Sound familiar? With the SansBug pop-up tent, you simply toss it in the air. Bug-free in 1 second. Cliff Jacobson, America's most published wilderness expert, has this to say. At well under $100, these tents are a bargain. They are not toys. With a well-designed tarp, they should withstand a long, heavy rain. I'm impressed by the full-coverage fly. It stakes right into the ground. No short cap fly for the wind to get under. In all, I think you have an excellent product here, even though it's one designed for casual camping. Namely, the kind of camping most people and scouts do. The SansBug has been used by the U.S. and Canadian military, disaster response volunteers in Haiti, ecologists in Madagascar, and doctors in the Amazon. SansBug, the quickest tent you've ever pitched. Find us on sansbug.com.
It's time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. we make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "We don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
There's nothing like being out there. For over 50 years, we've been connecting people with nature by building classic Canadian canoe designs using the best materials available. We built a reputation on durable, dependable canoes that allow you to focus on what's important, whether that's unplugging in remote wilderness, spending quality time with your favorite people, or nailing the perfect line. Visit novacraft.com to find the perfect canoe for you and locate your nearest authorized dealer.
Embrace simple pleasures, nature's music, the vision and aroma of your victuals simmering over a wood fire. We invite you to kindle your flame in a Littlebug stove. Visit us at littlebug.com. See why Littlebug is the top-rated stick stove and save 15% with discount code CAMPING15.
And we're back with our guests, Tom and Grant Siga, here on the Camping Show. Tom, you also own another company by the name of Duluth Pack, which has been around for a very long time. Give us a story about that company, if you would, please. It's quite an interesting one, isn't it?
It is, CW. Duluth Pack is the oldest canvas and leather pack and bag maker in the United States of America. We actually are in our 140th year of continuous business right out of Duluth, Minnesota, and we're very proud of that. And when you are the oldest, you're the only one that can say that. And the company was founded from a great guy. His name was Camille Poirier. He made his way from the Montreal area in Canada to Duluth, and it was an arduous trip to get there. The last 100 miles, or a little under 100 miles of the trip, he had to walk, actually, with all of his tools. He was a bootmaker. And he found his way to Duluth, Minnesota, for the simple fact that he did some research and found that at that time, Duluth, Minnesota was per capita the wealthiest city in the United States of America. And it happened to do it. Yes. And it had to do with the lumber industry, the mining industry, the rail industry to get those goods to the Duluth area, and then the shipping industry to get those goods out of Duluth. And all the magnates, all the owners and managers from those companies lived in Duluth. And so he said, hey, there's a lot of industry happening there, and I'm a bootmaker. It's a great place to go. So he started his boot business in the 1870s, and in 1882, he was commissioned to make a pack for the engineers that were shooting lines to put rail in. Timber cruisers is what they were called at the time. And the pack was the original pack with the tump line. And that's the strap that goes around where your hairline should be. Some of us who get older, our hairline maybe not where it once was. And what it does is it rotates your shoulders forward, and it helps you actually carry more of a load and carry it safer for your back, so it's not all on your shoulders. So he patented that on December 12th of 1882, which was really the founding day of the company. And fast forward, we're still in Duluth. We're still in the same manufacturing place that Duluth Pack has been since 1911.
Wow.
And we still make every bag in the same building. We've expanded. We have a marketing building. We have distribution and customer service building offsite, and we have a brick and mortar store. So we have 4 locations in Duluth. But as we continue to grow, we stay there. Our humble roots are Duluth, Minnesota. We're very proud of that, and hire and employ a tremendous amount of great, hardworking people that build a phenomenal product that's guaranteed for life.
That is a completely impressive story. I mean, it really is. And by the way, I did not know that that's where the Tump line originated. I think
that's what made it so unique, CW, is that the Tump line was patented on that day, and and integrated into a bag. The fur trappers had been using it for millennia as they carried furs. They'd never used shoulder straps. They just used a Tump line. But it was patented for the use on a bag for a very specific reason. And all of our canoe bags still have Tump lines, and we sell them, and people that use them and learn how to use them absolutely love them.
You know, we've had a couple episodes with Cliff Jacobson, and we talked about packs, and the Tump line was one aspect or one topic of that episode, within that episode, and the significance thereof. And Tump line, before I ever tried one, this has been years ago, didn't really understand, but people say, hey, you got to try this. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm like, wow, hey, this is much better. And so if you've never tried one, do it. You'll be glad you did, so to speak.
They will thank us.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the subject of Cliff Jakes, I have to bring this up to you. As I understand it, you have on display at your flagship store there in Duluth the very pack that was tossed from an airplane by, I believe it was Michael Peak, if I'm not mistaken. And that pack contained the wedding dress, which actually saved the wedding of Cliff Jacobson and his then bride-to-be wife, Susie. Now, am I correct on that story?
That is absolutely correct. And we have the greatest picture of the two of them holding the bag. And the story behind it was they were going to be married up in the Yukon territories, and they were flown out. All the bags were put on the dock. They got in the float plane, were flown way north, and the canoes were dropped off. All of their gear was dropped off. And Susie turns around and says, where's my wedding dress? They were getting married out there. They brought their preacher with them. They brought their best friends with them on this trip. And she said, I will not get married if I'm not in my wedding dress.
Yeah.
They radioed an aircraft that was heading back to the base. And the next day they came by and just swooped down to about 400 feet of altitude and opened the door, and out went the wedding dress. And they put streamers on it so that they make sure they could find it. We have a great signed photo of Cliff, who's awesome. He's been a huge advocate of Duluth Pack and the traditional cotton duck canvas bags and the Tump line. And it was Susie with that bag, and it's up in our store with the ribbons. And then we have a picture that they both signed in their wedding date. It's pretty cool.
That's a great story. I did not know about the streamers, but now it was Michael Peak, was it not?
I don't know that detail, if that's who it was, but I do know that it was the next day, and that out of an airplane came the wedding dress in the bag.
Well, Michael was on the show actually a couple times, and one of them was a tribute to Cliff Jacobson, but he was on by himself, I think the week before that, actually. And I believe it was he that told me he was the pilot that tossed that pack out the window. I think that's a great story. Hey, I wanted to ask you here before we take another break, what are some of the common questions that each of you are frequently asked with regard to the products from Spring Creek, that is, and Duluth Pack?
Grant, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think from the Spring Creek side of things, I'm sure it's very similar to Duluth Pack as well. But, we're constantly getting is it made in the United States, or, are your products made entirely in the United States? And I always like to tell people when I talk to them on the phone, specifically, as I'll always say, yes, this product is made in the United States. It's actually made in the building that I am sitting in currently, not right now, but when I'm talking to them on the phone. And, it's something we take pride in. And This, again, another often used statement, but we will shout that from the tallest mountaintop that we are made in the United States, because we're proud of it. And it's something that all made in the USA companies should be proud of. And because, it's employing your friends, it's employing your neighbors, your family. And so that's one common question that we get is it really made in the United States? And absolutely, yes, it is and always will be.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Everything you just said, I back that 100%.
The CW at Duluth Pack, we have 4 core values, and our core values start with quality is our first core value, followed by we are in the premium market and we don't apologize for being in that market. We're making these products in the United States, which leads into our third core value, which is made in America. In fact, every Duluth Pack bag, the person who starts the bag finishes the bag and then signs and dates the bag when they made it. And that's people's pride. That's made in America pride, that our workers came to us and said, we're proud of what we do. Can we sign these bags somehow? And we figured out a way to put a tag in them, and they signed them. So any listeners that do have a Duluth Pack bag, if you look under the American flag, it'll say handcrafted by, and you can actually reach out on the website and send that person a note if you're interested, thanking them for building an American-made, high-quality product. And our fourth core value is Duluth Pack's products are all guaranteed for life for all craftsmanship and hardware. And I just say it makes a perfect circle because it circles back to quality. If you make a quality product, you have the luxury of putting a lifetime guarantee on it. If you put a lifetime guarantee on it, you better darn well make sure that you make a quality product or your business model's very flawed. And it makes a perfect circle for us. And when people invest in American made, they're not only investing in a company, and we do implore people to actually search and seek to buy American made products, because it makes a difference. Because I can tell you, every single one of our employees has the same, mortgages and car payments that we all have. And we're employing people so they can do that. And they're making a quality product that they're very proud of. And we couldn't be more happy. And now we're celebrating our 140th year in business.
Well, you have some people that agree with that. Mustang 774, that is pretty cool. And Cool Quest, that's very cool. And I would agree. I'm telling you, there are not many things, as most people know, there are not many things made here or otherwise that you can find that will have more than a 1 year. Sometimes you'll find a 3, but not as often, more than a 1 year warranty on their products. And you, not 3 years, 5 years, lifetime.
We get repairs in that are second generation on a regular basis. And we always like to say, when it comes to some of the outdoor gear, it's never real cool to carry dad's gear, but it is very cool to carry grandpa's gear. And we get some repairs that are third generation. And probably once or twice a year, we'll get a bag that's 100 years old in for repairs.
See, that's another thing. And, when the product changes ownership, now I understand there's not a VIN number on the, maybe is there a serial number on the pack? Maybe there is.
There is not.
Okay. But when you get something that's been handed down from grandpa to dad and now to you, and the company's still going to stand behind that, that speaks volumes. I'm sorry, it does. That's just,
well, we're proud of it, and
yeah,
that's who we are. That's our part of our core values, and we don't change who we are. We've been around 140 years. We're older than penicillin and sliced bread, for goodness sake. So we've withstand quite a few things.
And those companies who do not do that, shame on you. So yes, I thoroughly agree. Well, listen, we're going to take another break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more of The Camping Show on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV after these messages.
I love camping, but hate setting up and packing. Sound familiar? With the Sandsbug pop-up tent, you simply toss it in the air, bug-free in 1 second. Cliff Jacobson, America's most published wilderness expert, has this to say. At well under $100, these tents are a bargain. They are not toys. With a well-designed tarp, they should withstand a long, heavy rain. I'm impressed by the full coverage fly. It stakes right into the ground. No short cap fly for the wind to get under. In all, I think you have an excellent product here, even though it's one designed for casual camping. Namely, the kind of camping most people and scouts do. The SansBug has been used by the U.S. and Canadian military, disaster response volunteers in Haiti, ecologists in Madagascar, and doctors in the Amazon. SansBug, the quickest tent you've ever pitched. Find us on sansbug.com.
It's time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "We don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutobaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
There's nothing like being out there. For over 50 years, we've been connecting people with nature by building classic Canadian canoe designs using the best materials available. We built a reputation on durable, dependable canoes that allow you to focus on what's important, whether that's unplugging in remote wilderness, spending quality time with your favorite people, or nailing the perfect line. Visit novacraft.com to find the perfect canoe for you and locate your nearest authorized dealer.
Embrace simple pleasures, nature's music, the vision and aroma of your victuals simmering over a wood fire. We invite you to kindle your flame in a Littlebug stove. Visit us at littlebug.com. See why Littlebug is the top-rated stick stove and save 15% with discount code CAMPING15.
And we're back with our guests, Tom and Grant Siga, here on the Camping Show. Let me ask you, Roxy, can we put up the photos here that we've got from Tom and Grant? We'll have those gentlemen tell us a little bit about each one of those. There we go.
Yes, that is our Tough Camp Saw. Fun little story with that. That product right there that you see is actually the product that got Tom and I involved with Spring Creek to begin with. So what it is, it's a entirely aluminum and stainless framed folding bow saw. It opens up to where you see it in there. That's the cutting position. Top to bottom, it has a 7-inch cut space, and it's shaped like a trapezoid shape. So front to back, it still gets the entire blade length of the saw itself. So you're getting your full stroke length, and so you're not, as you get deeper into the piece of wood, you're not limiting the amount of blade stroke that you get. But anyway, kind of our involvement, or getting to the involvement with Spring Creek and how it started, was we originally had an idea where we had used, being outdoors people, we had used many different saws on the market before, and it was just, there's never one that we were like, oh, we really like parts of this one, but there's certain parts that we really don't like about it, and those are glaringly obvious. And then there's parts about this saw, and same type of thing. And we thought, what if we can combine all of the features that we really like about the different saws and put those all into one: strength, durability, longevity, the ability to pack it and store it so that it can go into a pack sack, and its footprint is relatively small or quite small. And so that brought us to actually meeting with the Newbergs, as we were looking for a manufacturing or a facility that did aluminum manufacturing, and got in touch with them, got talking, and then came up with a couple different prototypes. And then as conversation started, and it was like, hey, business isn't really going so well for us at that time with the Newbergs, and they said, well, we can start making these saws for you, but we can't promise you how long we'll be able to make them, because we just might not survive. And they posed the question, why don't you guys buy Spring Creek? And it was like, well, we hadn't really thought about it, but
Right.
Sure, let's go talk about it. And so one thing led to another, and we got involved with Spring Creek. And so we're happy to have launched now the Tough Camp Saw that you saw there in that picture. So
Nice.
Check it out. It is and I'm unbiasedly saying that is the best camp saw on the market, bar none.
Stainless and aluminum.
Stainless and aluminum, and the handle is made out of HDPE, and so it's not going to deteriorate. So when it goes from wet conditions to dry conditions, it's not going to swell. It's going to keep its structural integrity for the life of it. So
HDPE. What is that? What is that an acronym for?
high density polyethylene plastic.
There you go. Fantastic.
It's a mouthful. I figured HDPE was easier.
Well, that's for us idiots that don't know what that means.
No,
So
trust me. I didn't know before
Right.
starting to look at it, so don't feel bad.
Any outdoor person should absolutely have the Tough Camp Saw. It is hands down. I'm an old guy. I've been in the outdoors industry for a long time. The best camp saw that there is on the market. Very lightweight, very strong.
Let me ask you this real quickly, because I want to make sure we got enough time for all these photos. What's the weight on that saw?
Grant, you probably have that. It's
Yeah,
right
so-
around a pound.
Yes. Yep. So we have it in 3 different sizes. We have a 21-inch blade, a 24-inch blade, and a 30-inch blade.
Oh, wow.
It goes from like 1.25 pounds to 1.75 pounds, just to
Wow.
give you the range. So
That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. And so 21, 24, and 30.
correct. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So all different types. You want a real small footprint, small blade, you can go with the 21. If you want, big long one for maybe around the house, cleaning up some wood, not going to take as much footprint up, go with the 30.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. There have been times I said, God, I wish you just had a longer saw at camp. And I did not know anyone made those. And I apologize for my naivety there. But very good. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead with the pictures then. That's my questions.
So that is our Tough motor mount. Cool thing, we actually just recently launched that here this fall. You can see a lot of different canoe trolling motor mounts, other mounts on the market. A lot of them have the wood block face, and kind of circle back to early on in our conversations about, hearing from our customers, is we had a lot of folks that would reach out to us and they'd say, hey, I have a trolling motor mount for my canoe and it has a wood block face, and after using it for a couple different years, couple seasons, it's starting to get wood rot from being wet and dry, and it's deteriorating. Can you make something similar that doesn't have a wood block face? And so we came up with the Tough motor mount, and so the block face on it is similar to the Tough camp saw handle. It's HDPE, and so it's not going to swell when it gets wet, or as it gets dry, it's not going to rot away either. So check that one out, the Tough motor mount.
Great.
So that is a picture of our Tough truck racks that is carrying 2 kayaks. We touched on that one earlier, CW. I believe you have that rack system on your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Fully adjustable, up and down, in and out. So you can slide the legs out for a wider bed of the truck, slide them in for a thinner one, or up and down for different cab heights.
Yep. It's a beautiful device.
That is the Canoe Seat yoke that you see there. Very first product that I touched on early. The top part of the picture is it in the seating position. Pads are slid closer together so that you don't have a big gap when you're sitting on it. And then the bottom part, you just flip it around, and that's in the portaging yoke position. Slide the pads apart so that it fits comfortably on your shoulders. And so that's the Canoe Seat yoke. Comes in 4 different pad colors: red, brown, blue, and black.
That is ingenious.
And so that is I believe that's a Scout pack with Duluth Pack, correct, Tom?
It looks like a number 51 pack, a thwart bag, and a Wanderer pack. But for Spring Creek, you see the gal sitting on one of the very popular products.
That's the drop-in Canoe Seat. Again, just like the seat yoke, it is a center seat, a solo seat, fully adjustable to fit different canoe makes and models and widths. I believe that goes from 34 inches at the smallest to 40 inches wide at the widest, and it telescopes all independently. So it's not just makes specific for the canoe.
I might add, I own one of those also, and those are a beautiful thing. Very versatile. Very
excellent.
Versatile. Yep.
That is a picture of the Spring Creek garage storage rack set holding up a nice wood canoe there. That's on the outside. These are meant to be used similar to, or like all of our other products, made out of entirely aluminum and stainless. So it's not going to rust or rot. So that's an outdoor mounting accessibility there. They do have an interior option as well. You can mount it for the inside or the outside, but that's our garage storage racks for you can haul canoes, kayaks. We have folks who tell us they just use them for lumber in their garage as well.
Just thinking that.
Yeah. Yep. And the beauty of the garage storage racks as well is when they're not in use. So if you don't have anything on them, so say it's boating season, you don't have a boat on it, they can fold up just about flush against the wall. And so it saves that important headspace. So you don't have to worry about banging into them when you're walking by them, whether it's inside or outside of the garage.
Right.
So they do fold up real nice.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Great idea.
That's the Canoe, Kayak, and Sup Portage cart. It's got a canoe on it there. And that nice thing about that the design of the Portage cart for Spring Creek is it's a axle-less design. So the wheels actually fold in like an airplane. So when you're storing it or portaging or storing it or paddling with it, it takes up a smaller footprint than that. So you can actually fold the wheels up. We have in two different sizes, 12-inch wheels and 16-inch wheels. 16 a little bit more durable for heavier boats and heavier loads.
That's great.
Grant was nice enough to get some Duluth packs in the shot there too. That's a Raveler pack that the fella's wearing, which is absolutely one of my favorite outdoor packs. And then in that canoe is a number 3 Monarch pack, which CW, I'm sure you've lugged a lot of those around.
Oh yeah, absolutely have, absolutely.
That is a Canoe Stabilizer. That's one of our most popular products, and we are actually the original stabilizer float manufacturer. Others might claim that. It is untrue. We are the original stabilizer manufacturer. That's on a canoe there. 2 gentlemen, full-size gentlemen, fly fishing out of a canoe. It's actually a customer sent me that picture. I just love it because a person's casting a fly fish, and you think of all the moving that goes around when you're doing that action, two guys standing up there. And so they add so much stability to the boat itself, and can't put a price on safety and security and that peace of mind.
One of my buddies bought one of those from you guys, and it's he loves it.
Excellent.
I actually saw some people today. I'm coming to you from Southwest Florida, and I saw some people in the Gulf of Mexico paddleboarding today, and it was pretty wavy, and I'm like, they could use some stabilizers on their paddleboard today.
Love it.
So CW, that picture there that you just had on the screen, that is our Sup Stabilizer Kit. We've just recently started with that a couple years ago. We had folks that were saying, hey, you got these stabilizers for canoes and kayaks and john boats. Can you make them for some SUPs? And it was actually funny. They came to us. They were wanting to use it for doing yoga on a SUP board, have the extra stability. I didn't know anything about that. I can barely bend over and touch my toes. But I guess people use that for being on a SUP doing some yoga. So very popular product.
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, all right, we've only got a few seconds here, and thank you so much, guys, for those photos. When I ask you, where can our audience go to learn more about the products at Spring Creek Manufacturing and Duluth Pack?
Yes, Spring Creek. You can find us on the web at www.springcreek.com. One thing for your listeners as well, if you scroll to the bottom of our homepage, sign up for our newsletter subscription. You'll receive 10% off your next order of Spring Creek products. So really cool there. Awesome. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, at Spring Creek MFG, and on Pinterest as well, Spring Creek MFG.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, well, we'd like to thank you both, Grant and Tom, for being our guests here on the camping show this evening. It was absolutely a pleasure having both of you here.
CW, thank you so much. It was really a lot of fun, and to talk about the 2 companies made in America is something that we can't talk about enough, and thank you for allowing us to be here.
Well, you're very welcome, gentlemen. Well, I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Sands Bug, Campground Views, Rutabaga Paddle Sports, Novacraft Canoe, and Little Bug Enterprises for bringing you tonight's show. Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, remote broadcast from Louisiana. Meet Evelyn May in the USA with my special guest, Ellen Falterman. Until then, thank you for tuning into the camping show. This is CW Getz reminding you, learn more, do more. See you next week.